Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Ferrum Wrestling 411. I'm your host Gary Holden. With me, head wrestling coach Nate Yetzer, 157-pound wrestler Logan Meister. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Gary.
Let's talk a little bit about last weekend. You guys went down to Hampton, one of the oldest wrestling tournaments in the country, 36th consecutive year, the Virginia Duals. Placed fifth as a team. Nate, let's start off with some general thoughts on how you guys wrestled.
I think we were better than a fifth place team. I thought we were. I really thought we were the second best team there, to be honest with you. But we kind of started in the semifinals. We had the Minnesota State team, which we got down I think 17-0 early.
Oh, okay.
And which it's hard to come back from that. Obviously not having Robert hurt us a little bit. But other teams had injuries too, so that's really no excuse. But we had lost a close one to them, and then I just don't think we ever bounced back from that.
Sure.
Then we wrestled Central Florida right afterwards, and they kind of caught us off guard. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a good team,
right.
And looking through their lineup, there's a lot of guys that when we were at Tech, we recruited a little bit. It's not like I don't know where they've been the last 3 years, but they were a good team, and I think they caught us off guard a little bit. We had a couple of guys that got beat pretty bad, gave up bonus points, and at the end we just couldn't catch them. So then we fell back and wrestled our apprentice and beat them pretty bad for 5th and 6th. So I mean, overall I think we wrestled well, just besides one dual meet, to be honest with you.
When you have that one bad dual meet, the biggest thing as a coach is to make sure that they get that out of their heads and just, hey, we got to wrestle another team.
So you're saying I screwed up?
Don't let that match meet you twice and everything. How do you go into that match with Central Florida?
Hey, I'll be honest. I was still thinking about that loss too. Because I thought we were plenty good enough to be in the finals, and so to be honest, it probably was a little bit my fault too. It was on my mind.
Wasn't blaming you.
Yeah.
Wasn't blaming them.
And the whole team doesn't. I mean, not the whole team wrestled bad. A couple of individuals, I think, just didn't recover from the match before, and they gave up, Tech Far pin,
It's really just the bonus points is what killed us.
Yeah, exactly. Even the match we lost, Minnesota State, both matches we lost, we went 5-5 with them.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you won 5
he's right.
matches
Logan's right.
So. Logan, you had a great weekend again. You went 4-0. You and Paul Biggs at 149 pounds. Nate, you had a couple of rocks right in the middle of the lineup there. You could always count on wins there and everything. You got a couple pins out of it as well. You've improved your record to 19-1. Did you, coming into the season, did you feel like this was where you were hoping you would be with your game this time of year?
It's always where you hope to be. You hope to be doing really well, but I wasn't sure, to be honest, moving up 2 weight classes. It's a pretty big jump. Like, I didn't know how I would be able to handle wrestling some of the big guys that cut down. Like the kid I wrestled from Minnesota, he was pretty built, and it's tough to work on guys like that because they're hard to move and they're hard to score on.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was a ranked D2 wrestler, ranked in the top 10 in the country.
Yeah, I think he was 6th or something like that.
Hard to score on those guys that are really well put together and everything.
Yeah, it was very hard, but guys like that get tired pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the game plan going into the match.
Keep it close.
Yeah, I know where I'm good at, and so basically I hand fought on our feet, got them tired, and then went to work on top, and I just tried to ride them out.
Okay. How about the issue about the cutting weight? Going up 2 weight classes, I would imagine it's not much of a weight cutting for you now, right?
Oh yeah, I don't cut any weight. I go to eat the night before a tournament, which is new. It's new for me.
Cheeseburger on the scales that morning?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice. But I mean, I try not to put bad stuff in my body.
Sure.
But it allows me to eat everything that I need to go hard. So I can go hard every practice, every day of the week, every match, all the time. It's nice that I have the energy to do it.
Right. I would imagine that the energy level is the biggest change for you and everything. You've given up, you're having a fight against a lot bigger guys and everything, but your energy level is there. You're probably feeling like halfway through the 3rd period, you're still rolling along, and you can start to hear the breathing hard. You can start feeling them slowing down.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer. I mean, when I was at 41, I still had a gas tank. Like, I could go mentally, but physically it was a lot harder. But now I know that I've got the energy. I know I've been eating all week, so there's no reason for me to not go hard for 7 minutes.
That's great. How is the, you guys picked up your first national ranking. You're a ranked wrestler individually, 157. Your team's got a national ranking. Has that been something that, from the wrestler standpoint, the guys are, bucking up like, hey, we really got to, hold on to this ranking. This is a prideful thing for us.
Yeah, it was nice, especially for us juniors, because we don't really have any seniors, and Paul, who'd been here for a while, and we started at the bottom really, and now we're creeping up there, and it's nice to see that they recognize it. But that's 21st isn't really where we want to be.
Sure. Early in the year when you had your first win over a ranked team, how big was that for the wrestlers?
That was huge. We were, especially this guy, he was jumping at Mount Union. I never seen him jump so high after a match. He was freaking out.
And you got 2 in the same day. You picked up 2 wins over
Yeah.
ranked teams that same day.
What was it?
So
Deal in Mount Union? Or who's the
I
other?
think Lycoming maybe. I'm
like
not
home
sure.
at Mount Union. So and both teams are still ranked nationally and everything. So you guys have got a couple wins over ranked opponents and everything still hanging out there. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about where we're going here. We've got some matches coming up this week of dual matches, a couple of younger programs. You're going down to Greensboro College, which is a first-year program, and at 4 o'clock that day you will wrestle Huntingdon College out of Alabama. They are a second-year program
wrestled
now.
at 2, and then we wrestled Greensboro at 5.
Greensboro 2 and 5.
It's
Okay.
some times around there. But,
Okay.
Yep. So but both just young programs. I think the guy down at Huntington's doing a really good job. They got a full lineup, and obviously they're probably where we were. Maybe a little behind because geographically they're not in a great wrestling area.
Sure.
But, guys doing a good job, and they'll be competitive. So we just got to be ready to go. And Greensboro, they're missing a few guys, but I think the guy will do a good job down there too. And so it should be some fun matches.
And they've got a D1 guy at the helm of their program, the former Davidson coaches down there.
Yep, I think assistant coach down there. Yep, I think that's what it was, Davidson. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so he's down there. He'll do a good job. So.
Good. Nate, let's talk a little bit about from here on out the rest of the season. You've got a couple of more tournaments coming up. Most notably, you've got that the Wheaton Invitational, the Pete Wilson Wheaton Invitational.
Right.
You've placed at that tournament 2 years ago and everything. Last year we had 3 guys place the tournament do fairly well, including Robert Cunningham was in the finals.
Right.
What are your expectations or hopes going into that tournament in a couple weeks?
Well, to be healthy and to have our. I think we have yet this year to have our the guys who I thought were going to be the stars. To have all 10 guys in there that could be, that are I think are the best guys. To be honest with you, we've yet to put that in there yet. To be honest with you, so it's probably not going to be at the Pete Wilson. To be honest with you, but probably the week after that we'll actually have all 10 guys in there. But Pete Wilson, I think I think we'll have the goal is just to build off last year, and I think we finished 9th or something as a team, and we're every bit as good as that and better probably this year. So I'm excited to get out there, and it's great because that tournament is so important because that's where you're last year probably didn't matter too much, but this year we have some guys 3 or 4 guys who the goal is to be All-Americans and it's realistic goals. Okay. So I think it's huge for seeding. I mean, you go to nationals, you get a seed, it makes the road not real easy, but a little bit easier than it would be. So.
Sure.
A lot
Logan knows all about.
Exactly.
Logan knows all about how difficult it is when you're not seeded. You
Yep.
face the number 1 wrestler in the country, the kid that went on and won the tournament and everything. And you had him first round.
That was a bad draw. Hopefully this year we'll get a seed going in. So
Sure.
Keep doing what keep doing what he's doing, and and I think even Robert his best is yet to come still too. I mean, he's been lost. I think he's lost 4 or 5 matches, and they've all been 1-point matches or 2-point matches. So I think we turn that around once he gets healthy. Obviously Logan, he's sitting really good right now. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep plugging away, and I think we're going to set ourselves up for success at the end of the year. So
Tate's won 20 matches now with this weekend's matches and everything, so he's got this. So between Robert and Logan and Tate, you've got at least 3 guys that are setting themselves up for good success and everything. And then of course the biggest thing is going to be what happens at the regionals.
Right.
Who can you beat at the regionals? You're going to face there's going to be, I would imagine, a lot of ranked kids there. This year we're not hosting it like we did last year, but at least you're not having to travel that far. You're just going up to Lexington where Washington Lee is hosting it, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep. So it should be. It should be a fun region. There's not, to be honest, there's not one team that really stands out. Like, man, this team's really good. Maybe the College of New Jersey. They've kind of, I think, separated themselves a little bit.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of good guys.
Yep, a bunch of good guys. They're all 10 guys are competitive,
And earlier in the year, didn't you tell me that our region has changed a little bit? A couple of teams have shifted to different regions because this region became so big with the new programs coming in.
Right. Yep. Wilkes and is it Kings or Scranton? One of those left. Both the two schools left. It's definitely Wilkes and maybe Scranton, I think. Right.
Wilkes is a strong program. They're always top.
Scranton's got actually 2 or 3 guys, including the kid that Logan wrestled. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I believe it was Scranton. I think King is still on ours. I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but
I think King is still in. I'm pretty sure they are.
Which is funny because they're all three in the same town. But two of them are in different regions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it seems strange though, the way that region worked last year. We were missing some trophies, the medals that they'd gotten sent to one region. Well, the school that was coming down here had to just swing past that school, pick up our trophy. So one of the schools that was in our regional was actually coming south of where the other regional was. Right. So it's really odd.
Which I think next year they redraw the regions, or 2 years maybe, they redraw all the regions. And they're going to make them more balanced as far as it's all based on geographics. It's not based on competitiveness or anything.
Right.
So I mean, and obviously there's a lot of new programs starting down south. So I think I think eventually like NYU they'll be out of it. They'll be in a different region. I think eventually.
And they would imagine they should be up in one of the northern regions.
Right. Yeah. So which will only help us. They're really good. You know what I mean? So, we're sitting. I'm excited about us at regionals because we still have. We have so many freshmen in the lineup still, and I think that the upside to those guys, I think they'll be wrestling their best at the end of the year, including the guys we have. And the key is just make sure we're all healthy, going in and feeling good. And I think the one thing, our best tournament usually is the regional tournament. Every year, we seem to be wrestling the best, at that time. So, you gave me a hard time earlier about Virginia Duals not recovering. I'll take credit on that one, right?
I wasn't blaming anybody. Let's talk a little bit about the club program. You guys sent, while you guys were out last weekend out in Hampton, you sent another group of guys up to Washington and Lee, and it's a varsity tournament, the Jim Kreitzer tournament. It used to be the Washington Lee Invitational. Right. And big brackets. I saw a heavyweight had, I want to say it had almost 30 wrestlers.
Right, yeah. Yep.
And that tournament really seems to have grown. Were you pretty pleased with how the guys
did? I was,
there?
yeah. I mean, I think Washington Jefferson, who's got 3 or 4 guys ranked, and John Carroll has got a couple guys ranked, and their whole varsity team was there.
Sure.
So,
and John Carroll won the tournament.
Right. It gives Washington Lee's whole team was there, and they're getting better. And I think to throw our guys, it was obviously most of our backups, throw them there and kind of see where they are. And Jordan Jones really happy with him.
Placed second at 149
right, and he's progressing
pounds.
Down to 41, so he didn't even weigh in 49.
Oh, really?
Which is, yeah. So.
Okay.
And then
is that where he's certified? He's certified at 41.
When he wrestled at the beginning of the year 41, I just don't think. I think it's for him. He wasn't going to be in the lineup for a little while, so it made sense for him to go up and just worry about getting better wrestling on that kind of weight.
Sure.
And then obviously Alvino, all the heavyweights did wrestle really well too for the most part. That was a tough weight class. And then Ken Cherry wrestled really well, took 4th. Sam Solomon's been wrestling like a week. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, he took 5th.
And he's a football player as well, right? Plays 2 sports here.
Exactly.
You have a number of football players and wrestlers.
Right. Yeah. And I think I'm missing another placer. I can't remember. I feel bad about that, but I think we had 4 or 5 placers. So, and one guy in the final. So, but it was good. It was good. So,
good experience for those guys.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Exactly. Yep.
Now, Logan, from your perspective, being on the varsity program and everything, do those guys? Do you see those guys really kind of making an impact with the varsity when they work out with you guys as well? Or they work out separately?
They work out with us. I think it makes a big difference because you got guys all the time constantly trying to get into the lineup. So you don't have a rest. They're trying to show off that they can be there. They deserve the spot too. They're in there doing the same work that we're doing, and it's nice to know. Say I get hurt and somebody's got to step up. I got confidence in them because they're doing the same exact workouts that I'm doing, and they should have confidence in that as well.
Okay. And wrestling is the ultimate team sport, even though it's listed as an individual sport. In basketball, that's a team sport, but a guy can score 40 points in a night and completely carry a team. In wrestling, you have a finite number of points that you can get from your team, so it really becomes a team effort.
I've really tried to put an emphasis on team this year. I tried to watch what the best teams do, and a perfect example is the Gator Duals last year. We went 0-4, and I was like looking at Del Val, looking at Alma, who I think they both went 4-0 there, just watching them. Like their team was like super supportive. Even when a guy just lost or won, he's sitting there, catching his breath, cheering on his teammate. And I think, and then I looked at our guys, like some of them were texting, some were pouting, and I think, I think Division III more than any other division, I think there should be a lot of more team aspect to it, more support, and I think, and that's why we have more success. I think because I think we support each other more. I think there's still a little bit, maybe a little bit of that still going on, but I think we're getting better as a team and we
We've
support each
definitely
other.
gotten a lot better this year.
Yep. So, because, I think you can lift each other up, you know what I mean? And that's one thing. And I was a big believer in individual. Like, this is an individual sport, yada, yada. But I've really changed my thinking, to be honest with you, because I think it's important to have that kind of support, especially for as young as we have been.
Sure.
Guys need to be able to lean on each other and lift each other up and hold each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And when they buy into that mentality, it's really big too.
right.
Yeah, it helps during a match too. Say you're down, you look over, and you got bleachers full of guys sitting there texting and talking to their friends. It's like they don't care. So you
Right.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look over there, you got people sitting there cheering you on, telling you what to do. Then you're more inclined to get your ass off the mat and try and score some points, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm real excited about seeing how you guys are going to do down this weekend and everything. Coach, we're going to come back next week, do
Right.
another
Yep.
4-1-1 after the Greensboro Huntington,
Yep.
and we'll talk
And
a
the
little
Builder
bit.
Open, we're sending a bunch of guys out to the Builder Open
Builder
as well,
Open,
too.
so the same thing.
Yep,
So
exactly.
again, a double weekend.
In fact, some
already
starters
done,
are
so-
going to go out there as well, too.
Okay.
So we're going to send some
Okay.
starters out that way and to maybe take a few guys that are backups to the Greensboro Duals.
Greensboro.
So, yep.
Okay. It's probably a day you can afford to do that a little bit.
Yep, let's hope.
Yep. Yep. All right, well, Logan, Nate, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you,
We'll
Gary.
talk to you, Nate,
Appreciate
next
it.
week this
Yep.
time. Folks, that's a wrap. We'll see you back here next week on Ferrum Wrestling 411. Thanks for being with us.